Hello friends, this is SC2 Noob School. I'm Trebus. Today is Wednesday, so that means we're looking at Gold League Wednesday in our Zerg Bronze to Diamond week. So we're going to be watching Imladi. Anyway, we're going to be watching this fine gentleman who sent me quite a few replays, so thank you very much to you for the replays. We're going to be looking at Zerg versus Zerg, and the reason I chose a Zerg versus Zerg is because as we're getting into these higher leagues, we're in Gold League now, scouting is going to become much more important, especially in the Zerg versus Zerg matchup. Zerg is the reactive race. They tend to try to have to see what the opponent is doing and then make reactions according to that. Am I going to drone? Am I going to make units? Should I be expanding? Should I be upgrading? All kinds of these decisions with Zerg you really have to make based on scouting information. And just because of the volatility of the Zerg matchup, scouting becomes even more important in that matchup. So I'm going to be kind of focusing on scouting concepts in this video. Okay, so from Melody, really don't know. We're first going to be looking at his opening. He's actually going for a hatchery first opening, which is it's definitely a viable opening. There's no question about that. I'd say on Shakuris it's a little bit dangerous just because of the wide ramp and things like that, but you definitely can get away with an early hatchery like this. The only thing is, let's see, he goes I think 15 hatchery and 14 spawning pool, and I think that's fine. The only thing to note is if you're going to go for an early hatchery like this, you really need to drone scout because you need to scout your opponent's pool timing. Now, in this scenario, we did not drone scout, so what are we not going to see? We're not going to see this early pool. This was like a 10-ish pool or something. He's getting that queen up. He's most certainly going to make a bunch of lings right now, and that is something we vitally need to know because we need to start making spine crawlers and zerglings and queens and things to fight these zerglings that will be certainly charging up our ramp pretty soon. The other thing to note, which was just kind of silly, you can't actually spawn here on this map. You can't spawn like close ground positions, so this overlord was really not doing anything. Yeah, so just scout these two spots if you're in the spot that Imlodi is in right now. Okay, so you see he got his spawning pool up, he's getting his queen up, and this is the time where really he needs to make tough decisions. He's going to get that queen up, he's going to get his first larva inject popping off in a minute or two here, getting another queen up, and right now he has zero information about his opponent. So who knows what could be going on. Maybe he got a hatchery first, and you're going to be able to make nothing but drones for a little while. Not even any spine crawlers, nothing but drones and queens. In this case, getting an early pool, you really need to know about that. Excuse this. You need to know about that to be able to get spine crawlers. You can see he's making 2 queens right now, which is going to be more queens than he can actually use, because there's going to be an attack coming in. Almost certainly you're going to lose at least one of these queens, if not the hatchery, especially without having a spine crawler nearby. So scouting right now is very, very essential. Should have definitely drone scouted in this game. The other thing is, if you don't drone scout, you still have to scout with these lings. So these first lings that come out should be running straight towards his base. Lings actually should have come out a little bit sooner. Basically, as soon as this, or look, here's some lings. Those should have been going straight to the opponent's base. Had they been going there, and had he seen these zerglings coming in before they were already at his base, he could have had a spine crawler up, both of his queens to block the ramp. That was the other important thing, is I would get like a spine crawler around here, and then bring both of your queens so you can block off the ramp. And you should be pretty much safe with your queens fighting and a single spine crawler. And going for this hatchery first, he's actually going to be in a pretty fantastic position right now. The other thing worth noting right now, just in terms of macro, is I would recommend at least pulling off 1 or 2 of these drones off of the gas, because you're really going to need a lot of minerals to support this hatchery first. I'd leave one in. I'd get my Zergling speed up, and scout heavily for any kind of baneling bust. Keep one drone in the geyser just in case you need it for those banelings, and you can throw more in the geyser if you sense banelings are coming. But yeah, I would get this speed and then kind of lay off of the extractor for a minute there. Okay, so this is the first time we're seeing these lings. Now we're realizing, uh-oh, this was actually an early pool. Gonna be taking some damage here. And if we look back at the opponent's base, he's actually stockpiling up Zerglings, so he's going for quite a bust right here. Gonna get a surround on this queen. Now, like I had said before, you should ideally have 2 queens here and a spine crawler, and that would have been very feasible with a proper drone scouting timing, or at least just a little more priority on sending those Zerglings in to do some actual real scouting. Okay, so here's the other thing. Once this first attack comes in, you need to know what the follow-up is going to be, right? You need to know if you're going to be able to expand after that, or if you need to get a baneling nest. What Imlodi should have seen just now was more Zerglings coming. So when I see more Zerglings coming after this 10 pool, I'm understanding that my opponent's not going for an economic follow-through to this, okay? He's trying to do damage, and he's continuing to do damage. He's already done plenty of damage. He got all the Zerglings we had made. He got a queen. It looks like he's going to get this hatchery. If he had chose to go for an economic follow-up, he would actually be in perfectly fine position. Seeing more Zerglings, though, realistically, I would be worried about banelings coming pretty soon. So at this time, if I had pulled off gas, I would be putting back on gas and throwing up a baneling nest. And then also, these spine crawlers are nice. Maybe 3 is a little overkill, but you know, whatever. So right now, priority is just getting some Zerglings out. Going to try to save that hatchery. These Zerglings should be going in there as soon as physically possible, just to deny these Zerglings from getting that hatchery. Although we should know that there are more Zerglings coming because of this overlord right here. So we see more Zerglings coming. Unfortunately, we're going to lose this hatchery. But the game is not lost. Our opponent has not gone for an economic follow-up to this, so we're in fine position right now. We actually have a 10 supply leads, which is fantastic. Okay, another little note on the macro side of things. You can see we're building up a lot of gas. Our game plan was thrown off because of this early attack. So basically the priority should be to just spend this money. Right now, after that attack was gone, notice we haven't seen any more Zerglings coming, so possibly it is safe to get this expansion up. I would have expected to see some banelings in this game, but our opponent didn't do that, so that's lucky for us. He's actually going for a Roachborn, which is kind of weird. I don't think that's a good decision. So not seeing any more Zerglings coming, bam, that's the thing that I know now is that I can expand, get these spine crawlers down, get the queens near the ramp, and you should be fine being able to get this expansion up. It's still faster than your opponent's expansion, so you're actually in fantastic position. Also, the massive buildup of gas right now, I would pull them off gas, get these larva injects down, and drone up real hard. Oh, here's some more Zerglings coming, so I think with the 2 queens on the ramp and the spine crawlers, this still would have been perfectly fine without even making any more Zerglings. You see we have close enough to even Zergling numbers that they're not really going to be able to do anything with the queens and spine crawlers around. So it shouldn't be a big deal. Had we put down that hatchery, perhaps we would have to cancel, but probably not. Okay, no Skype notifications off. Alright, so now we're back in our base. We need to be worrying about larva injecting, and this expansion absolutely needs to go down. We know our opponent's expanding, so his attacking has at least been stopped for a short period of time, and definitely this hatchery should be going down. It's funny because you would think that we would actually be behind in the moment where we lost the hatchery, but it's actually more during the time where we're not remaking the hatchery that we're actually losing a lot of money or getting behind in the game. We're still not really behind. I'd say it's pretty close to even right now, both with a decently saturated base and our opponent with an expansion coming up. Also, I want to point out overlords a little bit, because we are focusing on talking about scouting right now. I'd get the overlords on the sides of the base, and then I would get an overlord here, closer to the ramp, because this one's going to die as soon as the queen pops up. So I'd get it closer to out here. If he does decide to pull a queen to kill your overlord, at least he has to pull it off the line for a little while. And then also get a overlord in the back. Perhaps this one that was sent here, send it to the back so you can suicide it into the base, check his lair timing, and check his drone saturation as well. So right now we need to be getting that hatchery up. With that excess gas, we went ahead and got a spire, which I think is fine. Fine way to just dump that gas, but like I said, hatchery is the most important and thing that's going on right now. So we see the roaches coming in. We need to be pulled. We actually, you know, this hatchery should have been here, so of course these spine crawlers should have been down as well. And seeing those roaches, that would be my priority number one, is to get the spine crawlers down. Anytime you're preparing for an attack, you should be thinking about what you can do right now that doesn't even cost anything to prepare yourself better for the attack, right? Actually, I want to talk about that for a second. What can you be doing right now to prepare for the attack that doesn't even cost anything, okay? First thing, getting larva injects. Larva, incredibly important. Second thing, moving things like this down. Third thing could be bringing these queens in to fight, to help fight a little bit, or maybe do some transfuses on the spine crawlers. All those things are things you should be thinking about with this attack. The blue Zerg actually makes a pretty big fumble right there, just sending all of his Zerglings in to just get eaten alive by our Zerglings. So what could have been a decently effective attack has turned into a complete botch on his part, and the Melody does pretty well to make all these Zerglings and then crush this roach attack. Okay, so we're finally getting our expansion down. We definitely only need to worry about droning right now. That is the approach I would take. We're getting a couple, I would say spend all of your gas to make some Mutalisks, contain your opponent, and then I'd be taking a third and droning super hard. As much droning as you can. Mutalisks are good in the Zerg vs Zerg matchup if there aren't infestors out to get the Mutalisks. And even if there are infestors, a lot of times with good micro you can just run away from the infestors or only let them catch a couple, or if they don't have enough infestors they can only damage your Mutalisks a little bit and you can still take a third pretty easily. So yeah, I would be definitely worried about droning. Right now I think with all the madness going on, I'm missing an attack here. Let's actually back up a little bit. Okay, so we got a little Zergling counterattack going in. This is a nice opportunistic attack. We didn't actually make a ton of Zerglings to do this attack, so I think this is a really nice, I guess nice timing for just knowing that you won a big battle. Your opponent's probably going to try to drone up because he's going to start getting behind in economy if he doesn't. And so I think that's a nice move to send in those Zerglings right there. But the focus should be, like, this is a good Zergling attack. There's nothing wrong with this Zergling attack. This is all going very well. But still, the focus on your game should be later. You should always, your mind should always be thinking about what's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 minutes. If I can't win it right now, that means I'm going to be in the game a little bit longer. How do I make sure I'm going to win it later on? So, still should be droning. This attack's going to come in, snipe a queen. This hatchery is going to get taken out. We got a nice amount of larvae off of that hatchery, but I don't think it's going to be enough to save him. Taking out these spine crawlers. Spine crawlers are going down. I think eventually he is going to have enough Zerglings to hold this off. And as you can see at home, we've really just been neglecting our own macro. The micro is important, but the macro is what's going to win you games more often than not. So we need to be concentrating on those larva injects. If you have this much money, get a macro hatch down. Just get more Zerglings, get another queen down, start spreading creep tumors, even start just getting more gas just because you can. I would recommend it. So with the Mutalisks coming in and really nothing to kill them, I believe this is going to be the game pretty soon. Yep, so there's the GG. Okay, alright, well I hope you guys got something out of that. Zerg vs. Zerg is a difficult matchup, I think, for all players, especially in the lower leagues when we're not focused on scouting as much. It becomes very confusing, like people never know what they should be doing, and in Zerg vs. Zerg more than any other matchup, it's all based on scouting. So yeah, get those overlords in place, start watching your mini-map, seeing what's coming in, and then the other big thing, to not lose this hatchery at the beginning, definitely drone scout if you're going hatch first. You need to see what your opponent's doing. And then after that drone scout gets killed, whether you see something or not, your first couple Zerglings that come out should also be sent straight into the other guy's base to do even more scouting. Alright, this was Wednesday in Gold League. Join me tomorrow. We're going to Platinum League, so there's going to be even more goodness to learn. Thank you for watching. Good game.